Hello, I'm Rachel Smith and I run Senselessart Studio here in Hong Kong. In January 2019, I started a Matchbox diary. It was an antidote to some anxiety issues I was having. I was looking for something that I could achieve every day. That would be a record of how I spent my day and that could be accomplished in a short period of time. I've always loved miniature things and I find great satisfaction in putting things into boxes. Finding matchboxes these days, though, is fairly difficult, so I knew I'd have to make my own. I found a few general templates online and then altered them to suit my own tastes. Here's the video of how to make the matchboxes. You can find the matchbox template on my website, senselessart.net. That's senselessart, all one word, .net. The paper I prefer is 216 GSM. I print out the design and then cut it out with a knife, not scissors. To make each box, I use a bone folder, a paper scoring tool, tiny clothespins, a metal ruler, pencil, contrasting paper strips, some PVA glue. I have learned not to use a glue stick. They just don't have the staying power. This stuff is Elmer's white glue and it works just fine. I love laying things out for videos. It makes me look as though I'm really tidy. Usually my desk is a bit more of a mess than this, but for you guys, I make it look as though I'm super organized. First thing you need to do is score the paper for the box. It says 4 lines. Scoring it means that the paper will fold more neatly and the lines will be nice and crisp when they're folded. Once they're scored, put it to one side, pick up the next part. I have a little template because I don't always print things out. Sometimes I just make the rectangle for the box lid. So I need to cut the little corners off to make a neat corner when it's all glued together. And then I have a template that shows me where I need to score it. If you do just print it off from the computer, the printing lines go on the inside, so you don't need to worry. Once I've marked the lines, I score them. And then gently fold along the scored lines. This shows the paper where it needs to go. Once you've finished folding, use the bone folder to press down those lines. Do that on both the box and the lid. And then glue in the parts that are going to be folded over. If you're not sure how it's going to look once it's glued together, try folding it once without the glue, and then applying the glue afterwards. The glue all goes on the same side. It also gets all over your fingers every single time. You fold the long sides first, and then the short sides just tuck in. Then take your bone folder and use it to really squish down the corners and reinforce the gluing. I like to use tiny clothespins to hold on to the long sides as it's setting, because that leaves my hands free to do the next part, which is to glue on the paper strips that represent the sandpaper that would usually be on a matchbox. I have used real sandpaper before, but it's kind of irrelevant since there's no matches in the matchboxes. So now I just use the scrap paper from when I've cut out the boxes from the larger sheets. I start off with A4 sheets of paper. So glue those strips on. And then I like to use the bone folder to reinforce them from the other side. I find cutting the strips after gluing is much easier than trying to get them right. So I tend to cut long strips, glue them on, and cut them off. Fold and glue the lid to itself to make the sleeve. Again, I use tiny clothespins because it leaves my hands free to finish off the box itself. So undo that. The glue doesn't take long to set. Just check the corners are reinforced and nice and sharp, or as sharp as I can make them. Glue on the lid should be set right about now. You get glue everywhere, every time. Just to reinforce, I'm pushing it down with the bone folder. Then slide your sleeve onto your matchbox, and you've got a nifty, amazing matchbox. Now, go and decorate it.